out at me. This is their 5th game. Through 4 games, Hofstra has only been to the free throw line 29 times total, which that's not a lot for 4 games. Here we go, John.
One spot left in our Gulf Coast Showcase Championship game. It'll be the winner of this one moving on to face High Point, who just knocked off Illinois State in a game that came down to the buzzer. They feed it down low for Dubar, who throws it away. He was the star yesterday, 30 points, and he didn't even play the last 10 minutes of that game.
No, Hofstra was just making everything, shot really well. Their guard play was outstanding.
They shot 62% in the first half yesterday against Buffalo. There's a beautiful feed underneath, a miss, but a foul. That was yesterday's star, A.J. Braun, getting loose underneath.
And it's always interesting when a team has a game like Hofstra did yesterday. And, John, it was a 40-point game at one point. It's going to be a lot different tonight, playing against a very good and well-coached Wright State team.
Braun yesterday had 18 points and 12 rebounds, picking up the slack for Holden and Calvin, who were really quiet in the first half. And as Greg outlined, Calvin got hot in the second half, but Holden was really just a defensive presence yesterday. There's a pull-up from Tyler Thomas. That one rattles out. Those are the 2 stars. Both teams have a guard combo that can both go for huge numbers. For Hofstra, it's Dubar and Thomas. For Wright State, it's Calvin and Holden. Braun and Knoll both had nice games down low yesterday for the Raiders against a Louisiana team that does lack a little bit of size. Holden fades from 17 feet, and Jaco Fritz pulls down the rebound. Canisius transfer. Had maybe his best game of the season yesterday as well. As Thomas had it go through his hands, Dubar somehow saved it. This is a veteran guard group for Hofstra. Jaquan Carlos at the point guard spot as well with a lot of experience. Thomas backs down his man. That's Hubricks. Fades from 10, missed it. Fritz taps the rebound out of bounds. It'll be Wright State basketball.
Yeah, Fritz, I thought was pretty obvious that he knocked that out of the hands of Braun, but he didn't go after it. It's like he thought that they were going to get the ball to him, but
both these teams scored over 90 in the quarterfinals yesterday. Already going after each other early here. No field goals through the first minute 40. There's a kick. Hubricks, the extra pass. Calvin had it blocked. Holden, though, picks it up with 10 to shoot. Hubricks, a head fake. Steps back for 3. Bucket. Alex Hubricks, only 1 field goal yesterday. Just 2 points.
It was a really good move. I thought he was going to take it towards the elbow. Instead, he just cleared to his left after that head fake. Stayed behind the arc.
Both these teams ran tighter rotations than most of the other teams in the field. That may continue tonight. Really looking for a win to get a chance to play for a trophy tomorrow. Bounce pass underneath for Braun. Dishes to Calvin. Dubar, the larger defender, draped all over him. Cross court, Calvin with some space. Pulls up, open 2, missed it. Braun, the offensive rebound, had it blocked. Lefty floater is good.
And we saw a lot of that yesterday, John. Braun had close to a career high in points yesterday, a lot of them early, and a big double-double in last night's game.
Corner 3 for Carlos is no good. Hubricks the rebound. He loses the handle. Carlos goes to the floor. Bounce pass to Fritz. Hofstra turns it over. Dubar thought about it. Good closeout from Hubricks. Dubar lowers the shoulder, gets the foul call, even though he didn't quite have the handle going up.
It was borderline extending the forearm by Dubar, but he was able to draw the foul instead.
Yeah, that feels like a fortunate break for Dubar, who was lights out with the basketball yesterday. 12 for 16 from the field. And the aforementioned 30 points, and he misses the free throw here.
And, John, I believe off the top of my head, you might remember better, they had at least 17 at the under 4 timeout, because I remember they were well on pace for triple digits.
Yeah, and they finished with triple digits as Dubar splits the pair, and Hofstra finally on the board. Dre Carter is checked in for Wright State. First guy in off the bench. 6'8" wing. There he is with the basketball. Turns, banks it, and it goes.
Good job by Carter. The double came, and instead of going into the double, he spun the other way for the easy bucket.
Bryce Washington hands it off with Dubar. Backing down Knoll, back out to Washington. Contested three, no good. Knoll the rebound, and it's all Raiders early. Hubricks through the legs, gets it to Holden as they face guard Knoll. Now they get it to him in the post. He kicks, extra pass, open three, you betcha! An 11-1 lead for Trey Calvin and the Wright State Raiders. We've hit our first timeout here in Estero. Hofstra looking to bounce back after this. We bring you back live to Estero. Let's meet the third member of our team.
Why Wright State was able to pick up that big win yesterday was Brandon Knoll, one of the key contributors. And he's got a really interesting story. If you go back to his true freshman season back in 2020, that summer he tore a ligament in his knee, and not only was out for that first season, but the second after that as well. But he was getting it done in the classroom. He was described to me as a genius, in fact. Last year won the Winter Scholar League Athlete of the Year award for the Horizon League. And not only that, our Horizon League Freshman of the Year was described to me as a guy that can use his geniusness on the court. And that's played a role yesterday and the season as well. Guys?
Thank you, Max, as Carlos misses the three. Good stuff there on Brandon Knoll, who has had to overcome quite a bit to get back on the court for Wright State, and was maybe the player of the game in the quarterfinals yesterday. Holden circles through but couldn't get an angle to get the shot off. Now backing down his man, flings it underneath, and there is Knoll right on cue. Lefty finish at the rim.
It's all scripted, John. Our little sideline report. We know this is going to happen.
Max Stradamus down there.
So Hofstra played this time slot last night, started the game 5 of 6 from threes, and they finally get their first bucket.
Yeah, heck of a finish from Bryce Washington off the baseline feed from Carlos. Washington, speaking of brainiacs, went to UPenn and is now an MBA student at Hofstra. Graduate guard and an offensive foul. Speedy Claxton having to make some early adjustments here. Third-year head coach for Hofstra. Was one of the best players in program history back in the late 90s. Played 7 seasons in the NBA. You see him there at the top of your screen. Was a scout for the Warriors for 3 seasons. And then on to Hofstra as an assistant coach before eventually getting promoted to the head coach job in 2021. Thomas finds Carlos. Dubar, a contested wing three. No good. Wellage the rebound and a foul underneath on Dre Carter.
Yeah, they're going to get Dre Carter boxing out Fritz. I didn't see much there. And Wright State had 3 guys in the paint to his 1.
That pass goes begging. Wellage had a monster game in Bloomington against the Hoosiers last week. Followed it up with a double-digit performance off the bench yesterday. They're daring Carter to shoot. Calvin around the screen. Fires to Wellage. Elbow jumper. Yes.
Wellage hit his first 4 shots last night. Hits his first one tonight.
Carlos running the weave. Thomas curls 3. No good. Fritz had his hand up for the rebound, but it goes to Wellage. That is Logan Woods in off the bench, number 21 for Wright State. Carter straight on, will shoot the three, not close. And you can see why Hofstra was giving him that shot.
Yeah, that's not a good sign when you're shooting from the top of the key and you barely hit the side of the rim.
Oh, Dubar fighting through, earns a chance at the line. Hofstra is sticking with their starting five, and finally they will get a substitution 7 minutes in. It's going to be the freshman guard, Keyjon Robinson, and a Popka, Florida native coming in as Dubar lines up the free throws.
So last night, the exact opposite situation for Hofstra. They came out on fire against Buffalo, had wide open looks, built a huge lead. Wright State, on the other hand, after their big win against Louisiana, even though they gave up 85 points in the postgame, Brandon Knoll was interviewed and talked about it's all about defense and sort of looked up at the scoreboard and said, yeah, we still gave up 85, but we got to play better defense, and you're seeing it right now.
Tough shot from Calvin, offensive rebound, and an easy putback for Braun.
And this is the repeat from last night. Wright State dominating the boards like they did against Louisiana.
Oh, they lost 3 high-scoring games before coming down here to Southwest Florida as Carlos buries the 3. But Wright State last night, a huge step in the right direction and playing even better so far in this game. Carlos got his hand on it. Robinson, though, dribbled it off his foot.
Tough break for Hofstra.
Yeah, that could have been a run out. Calvin working on the freshman. Braun one-on-one, turns on Fritz. Wellage, a ball fake, and a foul as Thomas got in the way. For the first time, we'll see Caden Brown, Grand Rapids, Michigan native.
And I think it's important to note that Trey Calvin, their leading scorer, did not play against Indiana. Nursing a sore shoulder, struggled in the first half yesterday. Only scored 2 points and then scored 22 in the second half.
Yeah, so that shoulder seems to be okay. Holden pulls up. Contested 2, no good. Carlos looking up ahead. Wright State gets back. Gets the screen from Fritz. Fires to Robinson. Bounce pass to Fritz. Backs down Braun. Turns. Lefty floater. Yes. That's a heck of a move from Jaco Fritz.
Yeah, good move, good defense, good all the way around by both teams. Just advantage to Fritz there.
Yeah, the Dutch forward already has a bachelor's from Canisius. Switching across the state to Hempstead as Wellage trains the triple. And Wright State back up by double figures.
You had mentioned his big game at Indiana. Double figures last night. Just a nice bonus off the bench offensively.
Robinson, the bounce pass. Thomas mid-range. No. Fritz the rebound. Kicks to Thomas. Corner 3. Yes! Jaco Fritz leading the way for Hofstra as Thomas connects from the corner. First bucket for Tyler Thomas. Post move. Braun. No. Fritz, another rebound. He's got 4 already. Carlos steps on the accelerator and draws the foul. Hofstra starting to find their legs here in the first half of our second semifinal at the Gulf Coast Showcase, only on Flow Hoops.
From what we've seen here these 2 days so far here at the Gulf Coast Showcase, especially that, like you just mentioned, that offensive rebound and the dish out, playing good defense on the other end. So it started at 17-4, so we got a 8-3 run by Hofstra to get back in this game. Now make it 9-3.
And we expect this game to be close. There is no clear favorite here. So naturally, water finding its level. Hofstra starting to get back into it, down by 6. 9 players already used by Scott Nagy. trusting a lot of his bench early on here, whereas Hofstra's only used 7 players. Knoll misses the layup, and Silas Sunday gets the rebound, just came in. 7-footer and Iona transfer. Look at the friendly roll. Shooter's touch from Tyler Thomas.
That is a big swing of events there. Knoll had perfect position on Sunday and just missed the gimme. And then Hofstra come down with a 3. And now a steal. Yep.
Robinson poked it away. No numbers. Thomas will back it out. Transfer out of Sacred Heart. All NEC, all 3 years at Sacred Heart. Second on the team in scoring last year at 16 a game. Already averaging 20 in his first year with Hofstra. Sunday does come up with the rebound. Thomas tries again. You bet! Tyler Thomas scorching hot. 3 consecutive triples.
And just like that, a tie ball game. And we saw Thomas do that last night as well.
16-3 run for the Pride. That one spins off for Knoll. We are all tied at 20. Dubar feeling it. And he gets the roll. These Southwest Florida rims helping out the Pride here in half one.
It's not often you see threes fall off the front of the rim, and 2 times now for Hofstra.
Knoll on the reverse finishes.
Good job by Knoll to sneak in. Sunday had lost track of him completely, had his back to him.
Snaps a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Raiders. They've got 3 stubs, including Calvin trying to check in, but there haven't been many whistles. Dubar contested, not that time. Rebound for Woods. Would you consider taking a timeout here if you're Wright State? It would stretch to a media. You can get your starters back in. Holden in the lane, gets the roll. And that will take us to a media.
And my answer was no, because he's got experience on the floor. When you've got experience and continuity, you tend to let it ride out a little bit.
Look at this move from Tanner Holden. Transferred to Ohio State last year, did not play all that much for the Buckeyes, and back with Wright State, a rare transfer who returns to his original program. Played 3 years alongside Trey Calvin. They actually played at the Gulf Coast Showcase back in 2019 when they were freshmen.
And Holden is one of the guys that's going to have to step up. He's their second leading scorer, didn't do much last night, and maybe that'll get him going, that 3-point play.
Thomas one more time. Not that time. Still almost went in, but hit the shot clock first.
And I think Hofstra, the coaching staff, is maybe a little too quick. But the 3 got him right back into this game, so you can't really criticize too much.
He is not gun shy. Calvin with it. We will have a stoppage at the next whistle. And Carlos intercepts the pass. Numbers if they hurry. On the wing, Thomas thought about it again. Carlos drives, kicks. Dubar, open look, corner pocket, bang! Carlos makes the engine run. Gives Hofstra the lead right back.
Well, that slow shooting start, that's a distant memory now.
Corner 3 on the other side, you bet! Hubricks with the answer. Well, our last game was probably the best game of the Gulf Coast Showcase, and as it should be, these 2 semifinals, ultra competitive. Carlos right to the baseline. He pulls up with the jumper, and he connects. Everybody putting it through the hoop right now. Spin move. Calvin fires underneath. It was deflected. Braun one-on-one with Fritz. Backs his man down and lays it in.
Great job by Braun to reestablish the pivot off the dribble and get on the right side of the hip that he needed to on Fritz.
Yeah, 7 points after the double-double yesterday. 6.5 minutes to go. Thomas backing his man down. Fade away from inside, and it works. It's a little old man game at the YMCA from Tyler Thomas.
Not a whole lot of missed shots going on in these last few minutes.
These teams have made 7 in a row. Make it 8. A.J. Braun with 9 now.
Now is when you're waiting for that whistle. I think both teams look a little gassed. The next whistle is going to be the under 8 timeout.
Yeah, more than 2 minutes without a stoppage. Carlos changing directions. He pulls the trigger. You bet. One more from Jaquan Carlos. On the CAA all defensive team last year, but showing you some big time shooting here in the first half. He's into double figures with 10. And we've got a call against Carlos on that collision up top. That'll take us to that under 8 media timeout as the shots rain down inside Estero. Thomas Jefferson High School in New York City, and I just feel like he controls the pace of the game so well.
Yeah, and right now, not saying that the pace advantages Hofstra completely because Wright State has plenty of ammunition themselves. But, John, I sort of feel like you could go out there right now and make a shot because everything is falling for both teams.
9 makes in a row. 5 for Wright State, 4 for Hofstra. Corner 3 from Knoll, make it 10. 6 shots in a row for the Raiders.
I mean, why not?
How many lead changes have we had? My goodness. We haven't seen much from Trey Calvin, though. Of all the scorers here, he only has 3.
But again, yesterday he only had 2 in the first half.
Fade away, Robinson, no.
Hey, a miss. A miss.
Surprised they were even bothering to go for the rebound.
That was a good look, too. Very good athletic move.
That was the freshman Robinson. Well, not many freshmen on these two teams, but he is one playing big minutes early. Knoll on the smaller Carlos. Dishes inside. Hubricks over Fritz.
So Knoll had the advantage on the switch, and then he gave it up to Hubricks, who then ran into Fritz. And so the advantage disappeared really quickly.
From the free throw line, Thomas missed it. Rebound to Knoll, who shovels out to Calvin. Trying to lead Holden, and he wasn't ready for it.
That's a good look. Hubricks was setting a screen. Holden would have had a wide open 3 had he caught it. So finally, a stop for Hofstra. So Hofstra's missed their last 2 shots finally after making, 17 in a row? 19 in a row?
A gazillion in a row.
Yeah.
It felt like a lot. Wright State, though, by 4 here. Dubar from the wing. Count it. 3 for Dubar. He's got double figures. 3 members of the Pride are already in double digits. This is Carter. Fritz has held his own defensively. They've tried to post him up time and time again. Holden dropped his man. No whistle. Missed the shot and a rebound for Carlos.
And that should have been a flop from what we've seen. I don't understand why that wasn't called.
Fritz turns in the lane and scores. And Hofstra is back in front.
I talked to some of the officials the other day about that call, and the only difference this year to last year is there's no more warning.
Oh, Holden, righty floater, and a block. Hofstra thought that was a charge. And we will step aside. Pride lead by 1 in a high-scoring opening half here at the Gulf Coast Showcase. John Vitas welcoming you back to Hertz Arena, the home of the ECHL Florida Everblades, minor league affiliate of the Florida Panthers, and a converted basketball venue here this week. Tanner Holden at the line for Wright State, makes the first free throw to pull even. Greg, I think if Wright State's going to win this game, they need more from Holden.
Yeah, one of the things I had talked about earlier, second leading scorer, decorated player in his 5th year of college basketball. He needs to step up because Wright State's going to have to need all of their weapons to beat this very talented Hofstra team.
Holden and Calvin, both in their 5th year, came into the tournament top 12 in the program in career points. Thomas comes up short. As long as they stay healthy, they're both going to finish in the top 5 in Wright State history in scoring. Hook shot, and Carter gets the roll. If Calvin, who has got the more of the two because Holden was out of the program last year, if Calvin averages 27 a game, he will break the school record. It's a lot to average, but he should at least finish top 2 or 3.
He's got to pick up on that tonight. He's only got a couple. He's hit that 1-3, and that's it.
Shot clock already down to 7 for Kejon Robinson. Dubar, a contested 3, and the rebound goes over the basket. It'll go to the Raiders.
So Hofstra, keep an eye on this, John. They've got 3 guys that, well, Carlos finally went to the bench, but you've got Thomas and Dubar who have played all 18 minutes so far, and their rotation only 7 deep.
Holden posting up. Dishes down low, and a hard foul. Now, we will definitely keep an eye on that. These semifinals have been called pretty tight. This game's had a nice offensive flow to it, so there haven't been as many obvious fouls, but in our last game, it was quite physical.
Yeah, and the entire staff of Hofstra during that last break spent a good minute and a half huddled with one of the officials, like every single Hofstra coach. And I think the biggest question mark was that non-charge call that put Holden to the free throw line.
Carter converts. He has 6 points off the bench. And Wright State leads by 5. Robinson at the controls. This coaching staff trusting him with Carlos on the bench. Tough catch for Dubar. Backing down Calvin. Holden helps. Open look. Corner 3. Washington missed it. Look at Fritz get inside. Dubar follows. He hangs in the air and doesn't get the call.
I thought both of those guys could have got calls on him.
Holden fights through. No good, but look at the tap back from Knoll.
Knoll is such a important piece. He does everything so well defensively. He's just, he's smart. And I think you mentioned something about that.
Coach Claxton had his hands in the air as his team brought the ball down. He wanted a foul on the offensive end. There's a lob. Dubar missed it. Holden in transition, stepping on the gas.
Great look, though, by Hofstra.
Under a minute to go. Holden slings. Knoll the catch. They work it around. Calvin, a long 3! Trey Calvin from way downtown. And a 10-point lead for the Raiders.
Wright State started the game 17-4. Hofstra took a lead, and now, just like you said, John, back to double digits.
Robinson burning some clock to hold for the final shot. He gets downhill. Might have walked with it. Pass goes begging for Dubar. 3 seconds. Dubar fades, and the bank doesn't go. No whistle again, and Wright State finishes with a flourish here in half number 1. An 11-0 run over the final 2 minutes and 40 seconds as they hit 10 of their last 12 shots. I think Hofstra really missed Carlos there, who was out. Max is standing by as he will talk with Wright State here in just a moment.
In the second half, John?
Thank you, Max. Yeah, I think defensively for Hofstra, probably maybe the most significant focus for the four units there, Greg. I mean, 48 points surrendered there in the first half. That can't happen again.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I hadn't noticed that. The 20 points in the paint for Wright State. Wright State shot the ball so well, 62%. And even though Hofstra went on that run, they did not shoot the ball early well. They did not shoot the ball late well. So 39% overall. And going right back to the paint there.
I mean, that was really the X factor in last night's game. The interior scoring for Wright State is not something we necessarily gave them much credence to, as Holden draws the foul underneath.
2 really quick fouls on Hofstra. And I talked about it at halftime and leading into the half that the Hofstra staff was not pleased with the officiating as it is.
And an offensive foul as they call Braun for pushing off.
And I think so Fritz took the charge there. Braun pushed off after Fritz had already fallen. And it's almost like he didn't even have to extend that forearm.
The amazing thing for the scoring, by the way, for Wright State, 48 points in that first half. Nobody is in double figures. Braun and Knoll, the guys who led the way last night, both have 9.
Yeah, very balanced. Very balanced.
That's tough to guard, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can't key in on anyone. They have keyed in pretty well on Calvin, but he had a couple of big shots there late in the half. Thomas turns, met by Hugh Bricks. Shoots over Hugh Bricks and got it. 13 points for Tyler Thomas to lead all scorers.
He was so impressive yesterday, and also tonight, just a pretty-looking offensive player.
Holden backing his man down. Knoll with it. Resets to Calvin, 10 to shoot. Knoll had a little bit of an opening there. Hubricks fades away from 18 and splashes it through.
Hubricks is able to create so much space on that step back. It's about the third time this game that he's used that move to create space.
And Hubricks now leads Wright State with 10 points. They dump it to Fritz. Turns, lays it up and in.
Good awareness by Fritz.
Yeah, knew where he was, sandwiched between 2 defenders, but pretty close to the rim.
And I thought, so it's a delay of game because Fritz hit that, and I think he used his head. I know he's from the Netherlands, and they play a lot of soccer/football over there. I couldn't tell if he flicked that with his hand or he actually headbutted it out of bounds a little bit more after he scored.
They're going to get a foul on this end against Hofstra. It's going on Fritz. That's his second.
Well, this is interesting. If you talk to coaches, if you talk to officials, they don't take anything personal. And those are 3 really quick whistles on Hofstra.
Tanner Holden with the catch. Turning on Washington, fadeaway jumper, short. Carlos brings it down and wants to move. Looking to shake Holden, uses the screen from Fritz. He fades away and scores.
Tough shot, really good defense by Braun. Nothing he could do about that.
Carlos now with a dozen. Almost got a steal. Calvin kicks. Hubricks, corner, no. Carlos gets it and keeps his head up across midcourt. Dubar pulls up, contested 2, and he got it. 13 for Dubar.
And this is what Hofstra does. They can go on these little runs. A mini run right now, but it could be a bigger run like they went on in the first half.
Calvin in the face of a defender, got it up on the rim. Thomas can't believe it, but he is called for the foul on the jump shot.
So, John, you had asked about the depth. I think Wright State is a beatable team when you've only got their top 2 guys, Calvin and Holden doing the scoring. So now you add these other 3, 4, 5 guys, and that's why they're winning this game. That's why they were able to beat a good Louisiana team last night. The more depth, the better, and when you can't key on just those 2 guys, they're going to be really tough to beat.
Calvin makes the free throws. Wright State back up by 6. High screen from Fritz. There's the bounce pass to him all the way through, and he jams it.
Yeah, so Braun came on the opposite side to try to stop the penetration, and Fritz, another great job with just being aware of where the defender is and going away from the defense.
The one thing that Coach Nagy really focused on in our pre-tournament chat was the defense, particularly allowing layups. Now, their defense has been better so far at the Gulf Coast Showcase, but that was a breakdown. Braun the other way, gets the foul call, and that's going to be 3 on Fritz.
Braun had been going back to his right. That's sort of an easy one to score for Fritz there on the replay.
Yeah.
It's almost like, whoa,
Coach Nagy unofficially said that it's been about 16 layups per game for their opponents coming into the tournament through their first 3 games, where they went 0-3.
But that last move by Braun, he did a good job of going to his left for a change. I don't think Fritz was expecting it.
And, of course, a layup can be interpreted a few different ways. That's an unofficial stat that his staff calculates. But that's a lot of points right around the rim for the opponent. I mean, that's, a free 35 to 40 points.
Yeah.
Braun got it. Wright State staying at arm's length from the Pride. 5-point lead as Carlos brings it across midcourt. Sunday is in with Fritz in foul trouble. He cuts to the rim, makes the catch, and a foul is called. Sunday can be an advantage for them, no?
Yeah, especially when you're a team that plays a lot of man-to-man and switching. You saw right there, Hubricks ended up being on Sunday, and that's a huge advantage for Hofstra.
Hubricks is 6'3". Sunday is 7 feet. They were looking to lob to him. Instead, they have to force it to Thomas, who makes a good catch in the corner. Backs down Woods. Kicks Dubar. Long 3. In and out. Sunday keeps it alive, but Calvin pokes it to himself. Crosses over. Drawing a ton of attention. Pass deflected. Knocked around. Who wants it? Players on the deck. Pass knocked away. Thomas fires ahead to Dubar. Washington throws it down in transition. Bryce Washington rewarded his second basket. Calvin lost his man. His 3 is good. The scoring continues to come here in our second semifinal.
So we saw in the first semifinal, Coach Huss of High Point getting a technical, and I would not be surprised if we get a technical in this game.
Washington missed it. Calvin goes over Sunday for the rebound. 4 on 3. Spin move. He's blocked. Washington was ready for it. Ball loose at the baseline. Passed ahead. Transition. Washington. Dupar lays it up and in. Hofstra getting down the court. Cuts it to 4.
That time, defensively, they did a great job. Trey Calvin taking it in on 3 guys.
Mid-range, Calvin, too strong. Wellage, the offensive rebound with a man at his feet. Misses the jumper. Sunday lost it. Braun, all by himself, leans in, can't finish. Would he have been better served to pull that out?
Well, both of those times. I thought Wellage should have just pulled it out. Braun should have pulled it out, reset.
This has gotten wild here in semifinal number 2. Good pace to this game. Carlos wants 3. Sunday, a good rebound. Drops it to Dubar. Into a double team. He dribbles out of it.
Good decision. Great decision by Dubar there.
Carlos resets, but the shot clock into single digits. Switches hands, kick, Washington, corner, yes!
Those inside-out threes that Hofstra puts up are so pretty when they go in.
5 assists for Jaquan Carlos as we have finally reached the under-16 timeout. Hofstra is pulled to within 1. A championship spot on the line here in Estero. Fast transition opportunities. That's something we didn't really see in the first half. Ball's loose under the hoop that we're currently facing, and then Hofstra quickly getting down the floor for layups. That was Woods having to pass out of a trap. Calvin for 3, rims off, and Washington the rebound. Washington's been more involved of late too.
Yeah, and to me the difference more has been shot selection by Wright State in that one possession where they got a couple offensive rebounds instead of pulling it out and getting a good set. They sort of forced up a couple shots.
Yeah, Calvin is now 3 for 9. Pump fake from Thomas. Gets in the lane. And Robinson apparently stepped on the line.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit over these last 2 days, John. Guys just getting a little bit too wide.
So Fritz is back in with 3 fouls. Hubricks and Holden are on the bench with 3 fouls for Wright State. That pass a little bit high, still caught though by Carter. No foul, it was deflected, and Hofstra has it with a chance to take the lead. Spin move Thomas. Leans, fades, and gets the roll. Hofstra with the lead.
So they trailed by 10, have the lead. They trailed double digits in the first half, took the lead.
19-8 Pride here in the second half. That shot goes begging, and Fritz has the rebound. 8 points, 6 rebounds for Fritz. Out one to the corner. Washington tees it up. Side of the rim. Knoll got hammered from behind, but Wright State comes away with it. Knoll runs the floor. Lefty layup doesn't fall, but he'll get free throws.
Knoll does a really good job of running the floor, and he had a couple good looks there the last couple possessions, at least rewarded this time with a couple free throws.
Yeah, that's a lot of rehab with those knee surgeries for Brandon Knoll. Taking advantage of those legs. Looking to get to double digits with this one, and he does.
So you got Hubricks and Holden coming back into the game.
And they both have 3 fouls. But with veteran players, you want to trust them, right, to be careful.
Yeah, Holden actually doesn't have any fouls.
I was looking at that's the assist column with a 3. It's been a long day.
Yeah, and the other, Braun has been really solid too. He's getting an extra break. Probably look for him to get back in the game for Wright State eventually.
Dubar twisting down the baseline, finds it to Robinson. Media timeout upcoming. Robinson had to kick. Dubar. Crazy fadeaway, no. Good defense from the Raiders. Calvin shifts directions. Hubricks open, no. And the weak side rebound to Washington.
Great job by Calvin, though, to create that open look for Hubricks.
Boy, he is shifty on the basketball. Step back, Thomas gave it up. Robinson a better look. From the wing, and he buries it. From Waukeva High School here in Florida, Key John Robinson with his first field goal. Those are the first bench points of the game for Hofstra.
Yeah, you cannot stare down an inbound pass, a post pass like that.
A foul away from the ball. It's going to be before the shot, I think, against the Raiders. That'll send us to a timeout here at the Gulf Coast Showcase. Hofstra has come back to take the lead here in half 2.
biggest thing is this half. They went in up by 10. Now they trail by 2. They're 2 of 12 shooting, while Hofstra is 10 of 15. So that's pretty much the ball game right there. Now Hofstra has made 5 out of 6 free throws. I'm sorry, Wright State has made 5 out of 6 free throws, but they're going to have to shoot the ball better to regain this lead.
This is Thomas one-on-one. Tough shot, and he gets the foul call. Woods can't believe it.
So Wright State was shooting over 60%, 62% in the first half. You knew that was not going to stay that way. Hofstra was shooting under 40%, so now they're pretty much even.
Thomas makes the first. That gives him 16. That was his first free throw attempt of the day. You mentioned it right at tip-off, Greg. Not a lot of free throws for this Hofstra team. That has continued again today.
Yeah, they shoot a lot of threes. They are not attacking the basket. They don't really have a true post player. I mean, Fritz is a post player, but they don't go to him so much. So they're not creating a whole lot of contact offensively to get to the line. Biggest lead for Hofstra.
Dump down, Braun back in the game, working on Fritz. Spins, righty hook, you bet. That's a big-time move from A.J. Braun.
And remember, Fritz has 3 fouls, so they're going after him. But that's just good, solid offense from Wright State to go into Braun.
Carlos for 3, way too strong.
Yeah, sometimes you think when you pull up inside the perimeter, they're so used to shooting threes. Maybe he didn't realize how close he was.
Calvin contested, comes up short. A couple of misses for both teams. All the way around to Thomas. Knifes through the lane, lefty floater, no. Fritz fighting hard, it was knocked away by Woods. Calvin probing. Drives on the freshman now, circles back to the corner. Pulls up in front of Fritz. Missed it, offensive rebound, Braun. Calvin now 3 of 11, and Holden is called for the charge.
I think anytime you extend that arm, you're going to get the foul against you, and I think he extended just enough, but a good defense set there by Fritz. Held his ground.
Hofstra with the ball in a 2-point lead. Just over 9 minutes remaining here on day 2 at the Gulf Coast Showcase. Fritz tucks, lost the handle and gets the call. That is the second on Braun.
Not shooting yet. That's the 6th team foul.
You didn't think he was going up?
No, I think he lost it before. That's where the foul came in.
Braun back to the bench. I think they need him in crunch time if they're going to win. Thomas, little push off there, and he hits it.
So he got away with it a little bit. But most of those calls have been going against Hofstra this evening.
Raiders work it around the arc. Skip pass for Calvin. Lost his footing. Carlos takes it away. Robinson ahead, intercepted. Bad pass. Wellage was there. Wellage all the way through. Missed the layup. Knocked away, out of bounds, off Holden. And Hofstra gets it back.
I was just about to say that it's Wright State has got to get the ball into the hands of other guys besides Trey Calvin. Trey Calvin's a little bit cold right now shooting, 3 for 11. And Wellage had a great drive to the basket there, just lost it enough as he was gathering where he wasn't able to finish.
I think kind of the helter-skelter pace of late favors Hofstra.
Yes, 100%. They look a lot more comfortable in a fast-paced game.
Thomas turns again, leads into the middle, and walked with it.
Yeah, that's a travel. He picked up his pivot foot after he had gone back and forth. You're going to get that call every time.
So Wright State down by 4.
They have not scored in 2.5 minutes.
Hubrick's back in with 4 fouls. Knoll wide open, yes.
That is huge, John.
Big shot for Knoll, and he's got 11. Actually, 14.
They had been one of their last 12 from the field.
Robinson backs it out, playing with Carlos right now. Washington on the bench at the moment. Look at the moves from the freshman. His pass, though, deflected. And that'll take us to a timeout. 7:26 to go. Hofstra clinging to a 1-point lead here on Flow Hoops. John Vitas welcoming you back to Hertz Arena here in Southwest Florida, joined by Greg Anderson, and another outstanding matchup here in this tournament. Thomas runs the baseline. Beautiful out-of-bounds play out of the timeout.
And who that's assisted from? Our guy, Jaco Fritz. He's just been key these last couple days.
Yeah, Speedy Claxton kind of tipped us off on that. He had not been scoring much early in the season as Knoll goes all the way but missed it. And Speedy said that Fritz is going to be more assertive. He's going to be a huge piece, and he certainly has been this week. Long three, Dubar, high rebound to Wellage.
That would have given Hofstra their biggest lead of the game had that gone in.
Calvin, bounce pass, Holden, layup, yes. That's the connection between two guys who have been together for 5 years.
And if they're going to win this game, those two have to step up here in this last 6.5 minutes offensively.
You can only play in these MTEs once every 4 years. Holden and Calvin have been at Wright State long enough where this is their second time at the Gulf Coast Showcase as Thomas misses the jumper. Knoll the rebound.
So Holden has been quiet since he's been here in this gym. And if he could step up here in the last few minutes, this could be a big bonus.
Oh, look at that move. Tanner Holden finishing with the right.
There's something, you could just see it in his eyes a little bit. We have not seen him score much offensively, and maybe it's his time.
4 of his 9 points on the last 2 possessions. Bounce pass, Fritz, and a foul. Carlos passed Fritz open there. He was not even thinking about scoring, and the ball led him towards the basket.
And that's what good guards do. They see the momentum, and it's awesome for Hofstra to see Fritz becoming more and more part of this offense.
He was such a big piece for Canisius the last 4 years. Played in 99 games for the Golden Griffiths. And on the opposite side of the state in Long Island, now contributing for Hofstra and makes the front end of the 1-and-1. He's got an outside shot at a double-double tonight, although he misses that free throw. 9.7 rebounds for Fritz. Tie game, 5.5 minutes to play. Holden to the corner. Wellage dumps it. Holden on a good cut, met by a double and a foul. I believe it's going on Dubar. It is.
Yeah, and they've been in the officials' ears about that. A lot of contact while posting up. And that was a pretty obvious one. You didn't have to give the officials a heads up on this one, but here's Holden again. More opportunities for some points.
A 1-and-1 for Tanner Holden, and he makes the first. as many highlight reel plays as we've seen from Dubar and Thomas in this tournament, the two of them combined in this game right around 40%. So I don't want to say they haven't made a difference, but that's, kind of an average number, and it's allowed Wright State to take the lead.
So Holden now at double digits. And this could be big for Wright State if he's able to keep this going.
And Fritz gets tripped, and Hubricks is fouled out. And that both of his last two fouls away from the ball.
Yeah, in sort of inadvertent.
And even Holden comes over to argue. But Hubricks, when he's been out there, has played really well tonight. 10 points in only 18 minutes.
So that's going to be his fifth foul, and he's sort of waiting for the official horn.
And they're more worried about the condensation on the court right now.
All right, help me out, John. Thought that's his fifth foul.
You know what? The stats just put it on Holden.
Oh.
So that's a big break. And then an offensive rebound. Dubar got ripped to the ground by Holden, and they say the ball went off of Hofstra.
So Noel's probably a little upset at himself for not boxing out.
That is a couple of big breaks for Wright State. First, that Hubricks gets to stay in, and second, that they got the call on that play off the rebound.
And this is what happened in the first half. After Hofstra took the lead, Wright State was able to finish strong and take a lead, and now Holden again is going to go to the free throw line.
Fans for the Raiders getting into it. Most of them are on the near side of the court. You can't see them. But probably the second or third biggest contingent of our 8 teams here this week. And the couple of hundred that are here are letting them hear it, as Holden has elevated his game and makes another. 12 points for Holden. He had only 6 in the quarterfinal win last night. And a Baker's dozen. 2-possession lead for the Raiders. Final 5 minutes here in the second semifinal of our 2023 Gulf Coast Showcase. Thomas contested, no. Fritz gets his hands on it. Kick. Thomas puts it on the floor, and they have contained him well.
A good job by Hofstra to slow it down here.
Carlos with a head fake, lays it in, plus the foul.
And that is definitely going to be the 5th foul on Hubricks that time. But a great job by Hofstra after the offensive rebound to bring it back up top, create spacing for Carlos, and he was able to get to the rack on Hubricks.
That's a schoolyard move from back in Brooklyn from Jaquan Carlos.
He had a 2-on-2 situation. I don't know who was on the left wing, but he was able to get enough of an advantage on Hubricks, sort of faked a pass a little bit over to the wing, and then one more dribble right to the basket.
Carlos makes the free throw, and Hofstra is within 1.
Woods has come in to replace Hubricks. And remember, you got Braun on the bench, too.
Yeah, Hubricks just fouled out. That was his 5th.
Yep.
And that one's out of bounds, and Hofstra will get it back. 12th turnover for Wright State. Hofstra only has 8 turnovers.
And this is one of those situations, again, we've had it a couple times where the games have been so tight and so close, lots of runs, but there's so much time left as well.
And a foul. Thomas got Noel in the air. Do you assume that the reason that Braun is not in is just because of matchups? Hofstra pretty positionless, maybe a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Sunday hasn't been in, so Fritz has been the 5 as Thomas sinks the first. A 1,000-point scorer at Sacred Heart, and scoring in a big way for Hofstra now. Thomas with 22. No rushing from Wright State. Setting things up. Calvin, well defended. Washington, D'ing up. Now with Holden. Turns, hangs, missed it. Short, all Pride on the rebound.
That was a good look by Holden. And we've seen that out of him the last few days. Just a little bit short on those shots.
He's creating for himself here down the stretch. Just not able to hit that one. Thomas gets downhill on Knoll. No angle. And it's stolen by Calvin. Wright State in transition. Poked away. Fritz's pass for Carlos. 2-on-1. Carlos swings. Washington, a ball fake. Now he dumps it to Dubar. There's a cut for Fritz, and he jams it. And Hofstra leads by 4. Or I beg your pardon, 3.
What we expected, huh, John?
Hofstra wants to run as much as they possibly can. That was not the prettiest of transition opportunities, but Fritz polished it off. Calvin floats, no good.
2 really good looks from their top 2 scorers. Just come up a little bit short.
Thomas using some clock. We have a media timeout coming up as we tick under 2:40 to play. Thomas and a foul. Holden reached in. That'll be free throws for Hofstra when we come back. A 3-point lead for the Pride, looking to punch their ticket to tomorrow night's final. Timeout of the night, and Hofstra leads by 3. Greg, Wright State just 6 for 22 in this half.
Yeah, and it's a 7-0 run currently by Hofstra. So Wright State led 71-67, and Hofstra to the line to extend the lead.
Thomas converts. And for a team that doesn't get to the line much, they are now 7 for 9 in the half. And now 8 for 10.
So
largest lead.
A lot of time left. Yep, largest lead, 2.5 minutes. Wright State does not have to rush anything. Just get a good offensive set.
Calvin to the corner. Holden down the baseline, lays it up and in. Long strides from Tanner Holden, who has come through late for Wright State.
That's a good movement. More touches. And that's what Wright State needs. Obviously a stop in this next couple minutes too.
Starting 5 out there right now for Hofstra. They have scored all but 3 points in this game. Thomas, fadeaway, contested 3. Oh, goodness! Eye hole, Thomas!
And I actually thought Noel got a piece of that.
Boy, oh boy, 25 sucked into this game. We want to remind you our schedule for tomorrow here at the Gulf Coast Showcase. 4 more games to wrap up the men's tournament before the women's tournament kicks off on Friday. We've got our 7th place game tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Iona versus Buffalo, and our 5th place game at 1:30 between Long Beach State and Louisiana. Knoll open for 3, count it! A huge response from Brandon Knoll, and another timeout here on the floor. And then, of course, Greg, tomorrow night will be on the call for the night games. 5 o'clock, Illinois.
Things, and you're just trying to get back into a 3. The next thing you know, you could be down double digits. But boy, what a huge 3 by Knoll. He's been so impressive these last 2 days.
Absolutely. 13 points a game last year. Max outlined his knee issues prior to that, but has been consistent throughout these 2 games.
So Hofstra's going to want to run as much clock as possible, but at the same time, if they could get a clean look, you got to take it.
Thomas one-on-one with Calvin using some of the shot clock. Fritz comes out for the screener. Fritz rolls. They lob it. He's got it. Inside, he lays it home. Plus the foul. Jaco Fritz makes it a 2-score game.
That interior pass by Thomas, just clearing the fingertips of Knoll.
And the help was coming too, but Fritz got it off just in time. And a free throw now can make it a 6-point game with only 1 minute remaining.
Bar haven't sat at all. They've played all 39 minutes so far.
That's right. Their top 2 scorers, Thomas with a game-high 28 points for the Pride. Fritz looking to tack on one more, and he does. Now Wright State's got to have a little pep in their step, no?
Yeah, and we'll see if they run the same set. Try to get 3 for Knoll. Nope, they're looking for, there it is.
Knoll for 3, short. And Carlos gets low for the rebound. Hofstra in control. They haven't fouled yet, and now they will. I don't think Calvin was trying to foul, but the call is made. You can see Holden complaining. They wanted to try and trap before they gave the foul.
Well, that's going to be Holden's 5th foul if they called it on him.
I think it's on Calvin.
Okay.
Who was the initial defender. Holden was coming over to help. And Thomas to the free throw line as it goes hush inside Hertz Arena. And the first one is good.
And this is what I just talked about, how a really tight ball game can all of a sudden be an 8, 9, even 10-point loss if Wright State can't score and they're fouling. So at this point, you're going to want to get to the rim as quickly as possible. You're not worried about a 3 so much.
Tough shot, Calvin, not close. And Hofstra maybe moving on.
There's still a lot of time left.
8-point lead, and finally the foul comes as Dubar was ridden to the sideline.
I mean, I get it's a 3-possession game, but there were still 35 seconds left. It's almost like Hofstra had just conceded.
You mean Wright State?
I'm sorry, Wright State had conceded.
Yeah, that's 2 possessions in a row. They were dropping back on defense before Coach Nagy told them to go ahead and foul. Dubar missed it. That'll help Wright State just a bit. The energy from the Hofstra bench throughout this tournament has been excellent. Their energy has not dipped, even though they've played big minutes. Thomas has not come off the floor tonight as Calvin misses the 3. High rebound. Hofstra's got it, and that'll do it. Woods defending Thomas. Oh, boy, Dubar just slipped. Pass up ahead, though, to Washington will ice it. The clock ticks down as the Hofstra Pride erase a 13-point lead and win by 9 here in our final semifinal of the Gulf Coast Showcase. It'll be Hofstra tomorrow taking on High Points. A battle of the H's in our Gulf Coast Showcase championship game tomorrow night.
Yeah, and the final score of this game, 85-76, is not going to really show how close the game was, and 2 double-digit deficits that Hofstra were able to